how to check if unranked keywords are even indexed on Amazon, see your TikTok shop sales in real time, get a list of products you can target in sponsored ads in seconds. This and more on today's episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the AMPM podcast. My name is Bradley Sutton, and I'll be your host. And this is the show where we discuss all things Amazon, TikTok Shop, and Walmart private label, and how to generate recurring revenue streams 24 hours a day during the AM and the PM, hence the name of the show. Get it? AM, PM podcast. And as a matter of fact, this week I spent 10 hours a day at the Helium 10 office filming a new AI course for Helium 10. And while I wasn't on my computer, I was still making money online. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. All right, guys, we have 10 plus 2 bonus new strategies that can help you make money or protect the money that you're already making. Usually we kind of like drop these once a week because usually Helium 10 drops a new strategy or a new kind of tool once a week. We had 10 this week. So I was like, man, I got to do a special episode. For those of you who don't have Helium 10, don't tune out. These are still Amazon, TikTok Shop, Walmart strategies that you need to kind of like be aware of and figure out other ways to do it. Those of you who have Helium 10, you'll be able to like just hop right into the tool and get to it. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. What is indexing on Amazon? Indexing is if you are searchable for a keyword. Indexing is not ranking. All right. Ranking means you are showing up in the top 7 pages of the search results, the top 306 positions. Indexing means you have the potential to show up in the top 7 pages. All right. There's a clear difference. Now, to rank for a keyword, you need to be indexed. All right. But if you're indexed, it doesn't mean you're ranking. We have in Helium 10 for years, one of our first tools was called Index Checker. All right. So you can just drop, a couple hundred keywords into there and see if you are indexed or not. That has been there since day one. Now, what is new is inside of Keyword Tracker in Helium 10, directly from there, you can now have an index checker. Right now, guys, this is for elite members. Soon it's going to go to diamond and even platinum members. All right, here's how it works. Right now, this is working for any child item that you're tracking. It's going to work soon for products that you have variations on, or you're going to be able to choose which product that you want to check the indexing for. But the whole point of Keyword Tracker is, hey, where am I ranking organically and sponsored? But what happens when all of a sudden your keyword rank goes away? Well, it could mean that you just fell off the first 7 pages, or it could mean for some reason you are de-indexed. Right. And that maybe the keyword dropped out of your listing, like maybe Amazon changed your title, right? And the only place you had that keyword was in the title, and now you're not searchable. So in the past, what would you have to do? Hey, let me check all the keywords that I stopped ranking for, and let me go ahead and copy it and paste it and put it into Index Checker. No, right now you can do that directly from Keyword Tracker. So like, take a look here. I sorted it by organic rank, and like, here's some products that I was ranking for, but that I'm not right now. So I'm going to select all these ones that I'm either not ranking at all for, or I was and aren't now. Now, I'm not going to choose stuff that I'm ranking for, like right now, because by definition, I'm indexed. I mean, I can't rank organically if I'm not indexed. All right. So these ones that say above 306, that means we're not in the first 7 pages. And this is why it's so critical to be tracking all pages. Helium 10 is the only tool that does that. Other ones out there, they're only tracking like what's happening in the first 2-3 pages. So I just chose about 10 different keywords here for this product, and I'm going to hit Run Index Checker. Now, take a look here. After just a little bit of time, a new column will pop up here on the right, and it tells me, hey, even though I'm not ranking currently, I am indexed for these keywords. But then here's a keyword, Fitness Planner 2026. I am not indexed. All right. So again, I didn't have to go to Index Checker to do this. I can do it right from Keyword Tracker. What's the use case for this? Now this keyword, I got to check Fitness Planner 2026. Which of those words is causing this whole phrase to be not searchable? If I'm not searchable, if I'm not indexed, that means I can't run exact match sponsored product campaigns against this keyword. So I have to go get myself indexed. Maybe I need to add one of the words that's missing to my listing or work on my relevancy. But again, this is one of the most asked for tools of the last 5 years. It just kind of like takes the process a little bit faster. Instead of having to copy and paste keywords to a completely different Helium 10 tool, right here inside Keyword Tracker, I can run Index Checker. Now, the next one I actually dropped earlier this week on the Weekly Buzz, but let's go ahead and review it for those who didn't see the Weekly Buzz episode. Now, next up is new feature alert, and this is probably the most anticipated one of our recent MCP launches. As soon as the Helium 10 MCP came out, what everybody was asking me is, hey, when will you have MCP for X-ray? And the answer in a nutshell is never. X-ray is a Chrome extension. It's not something for the MCP. That being said, basically what you guys were looking for is now here. Is it X-ray MCP? No, it's actually called Black Box Niche MCP, but it's kind of the same thing, something completely unique to Helium 10. How does it work? Let me show you. Black Box Niche is a tool that has been in Helium 10 forever. Basically, you enter in a keyword and you get all of the search results as it looks on Amazon, but with all the details, but it's inside of Helium 10. So now what you can do is you can enter in, like 10, 15, 20 keywords to Claude and get X-ray level information. Let me go ahead and enter in like 5 keywords here to Claude and show you how this works. Now, what I just entered here into Claude was 5 keywords: coffin shelf, coffin bath mat, coffin mirror, gothic decor, and Halloween party supplies. And then I said, hey, first take these keywords, tell me the search volume for each of these, and then also of the top 20 organic results. I can go top 50, top 100. Again, this is kind of like what X-ray gives you, right? For the top 20 organic results for each, using Black Box Niche, what the total sales are for those top 20 products, how many listings have more than $5,000 of sales in the last 30 days, and then going to the top 10 products, how many of them have less than 150 reviews. So it's even like better than what people were wanting for MCP for X-ray, because this is not something that you can just filter out easily when you're using the Chrome extension. So let's see what Claude says using the Helium 10 MCP. And take a look. We've got the results right here. It gave me this little chart, shows me the search volume. Halloween party supplies is in the lead at 15,000. Total sales, we can see, hey, there's definitely kind of heavy, the coffin bath mat, Halloween party supplies. You can see the total revenue. It's in the millions of dollars for a couple of these for the top 20 products. How many listings greater than $5,000 worth of sales? It's showing me. Coffin shelf is actually the least. And then how many of the top 10 that have less than 150 reviews? Halloween party supplies only has 1, but coffin mirror has 8. All right. So these were just a sample of the kind of things I can ask it. But again, this is what everybody was asking for, which is, hey, we want to see basically X-ray level data and be able to search it so that I don't have to go one by one on X-ray. So this is something that I want you guys to play with. Just trigger it by saying, hey, Black Box Niche with the MCP. Guys, if you haven't tried out Helium 10's MCP yet, make sure to give it a try, give it a spin. All right, next up, another brand new MCP feature from our team, and this is history of different data points. All right, this is going to be price history of any product on Amazon, BSR history, review history, search volume history. All right, so check this out. Here I entered a prompt in Helium 10's MCP right here in Claude. I said, tell me the 90-day high price and low price and average price for this ASIN. And then I said, in the same time period, give me the high, low, and average BSR for this product. And in the same time period, how much has the review count gone up? I can do this of one product. I can like drop a list of 10 products and have them, make a chart here. I also said in the same prompt, show me a graph of the search volume for collagen peptides over the last 60 days this year and also last year on the same graph so I can see year over year changes. So I'm just trying to lump all of these things into one. Why is this beneficial? All right. Well, hey, you might want to see what the pricing strategy of your competitors are. How steady is their BSR? Are they increasing in sales or decreasing in sales? What kind of review velocity do they have? A keyword search volume. Maybe you have a list of 30 keywords and you want to see, are the search volumes going up or are they going down over time? Is it up or down year over year, etc.? All right, let's take a look at what Claude told us here with the Helium 10 MCP. Hey, for this ASIN, this collagen peptides, the high price, $59.95, low price, $59. Right away, I'm seeing, man, this competitor does not change their price that often. Only $1 difference in the last 90 days. Average $59.58, okay? The BSR, the lowest BSR they had was 76. It was on June 25th. Wasn't that around Prime Day, perhaps? The worst was 244. So again, their sales are pretty darn steady, as we can see here. Average BSR 185 in that category. It even gives me some added data here. It says, per Helium 10 data, it says worth noting, this had a steady number 3 in the collagen subcategory. Helium 10 has the history of the subcategory BSR too. The reviews, it said it started at 129,008 and ended at 129,799. So 791 review increase over the last 90 days. All right. So it gave me all the data that I asked. Here's the graph of the search volume for collagen peptides. I can see that 2025, it actually was a little bit higher in July. But that correlates with what? Prime Day last year. And then the spike this year was the end of June, which was what? Prime Day this year. So again, it's pulling in this Helium 10 data and it's showing me, hey, collagen peptides is pretty steady of a keyword as far as search volume goes. This is all just in one prompt, guys. A lot of this stuff you can only get in Helium 10, a lot of these this historical information. So if you have the Helium 10 MCP, get in there and start checking out this historical data. All right, new strategy number 4. This is in Helium 10 ads bid tactics library. It even dropped my name in here. I didn't even know they were using my name. It says Bradley Sutton's master bid rule is now 1 click away. Let's go ahead and take that click and hit explore bid tactics. Now, for those who don't know, Helium 10 ads and whatever PPC tool you guys are using, it's important to set up the rules. That's the whole point of using software, is instead of trying to download search term reports from Amazon and run pivot tables and VLOOKUPs and all those things, set up rules that allow you to kind of like surface the changes you need to make to your advertising in order to reach your goals, whether it's about negative matching keywords, maybe it's about a ladder system to increase your bids if your ACoS is low, or to decrease your bids if your ACoS is too high. Maybe you're trying to do rules based on your ROAS or number of impressions or number of sales. All of these things, you should be setting rules so that you're not doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Let Helium 10 ads or whatever tool that you're using kind of like do all the calculations and then just give you suggestions on what you need to change in order to reach your goals. Now, a lot of times I have talked about my rules. All right. It's just one of many rules where I start where I say, hey, if something is over 200 ACoS, 200% ACoS, go ahead and try and pause it. If it's between 100 and 200, try and bring it down to 80. If it's between 80 and 100, bring it down to 60. If it's between 10 and 20, bring it up to 25, et cetera, right? It's like, we call that like my laddering system, where over time, I'm not trying to just drastically in 1 week get to my target ACoS, because that's like a recipe for disaster sometimes. But I have this thing where it's like, hey, over a month to 2 months, it's going to gradually increase my ACoS to what I want or decrease my ACoS to my target. So what you guys can do here in ads is go to your rules and automation, click on, like, for example, bids, hit add rule, and then scroll down and you'll see this new button called Apply Templates and Tactics. And so, for example, this is the first time I'm seeing this, guys. I can't believe they literally put my name on this, but here it says Bradley's Master Bid Rule. All right, so let's click that. And you can see here that now there are ones that are grayed out. All right, a lot of these other rules, they have kind of like completely different metrics that you can be optimizing for. Destiny is the one who gave some of her input on some of these rules, but this allows tons of customization, so you're not having to make the rule from scratch. So let me scroll down here. Let me go ahead and hit confirm. And now it asks me some questions. It says, hey, what's my target ACoS? So I'm going to say, hey, I want to get 25% ACoS, for example. It says, what's the lowest bid we should ever set? All right, I'm going to say, you know what? I can go all the way down to 5 cents. What's the highest bid we can set? I could put nothing here, or I can say, you know what? I don't want anything over a $10 bid. How big should each bid increase be? All right, maybe I'm like, I only want to increase maybe a maximum of 10% at a time. Below how many impressions should we step in and start raising a keyword's bid? This is like, hey, if I only have 5 impressions, regardless of what my ACoS, maybe there's no ACoS, start raising the bid. I could leave this blank. Me personally, I'm going to leave this one blank. But maybe you've got some kind of threshold that you want to do. How many clicks before a keyword has enough data to be judged on for performance? Like maybe I'm like, hey, I need to see at least 5 clicks before I take action. How many clicks with 0 sales before we act? Maybe I can say, you know what, if it's 25 clicks and 0 sales, I want to go ahead and try and pause that target. How many times over your target ACoS before we pause a keyword instead of correcting it? All right. There's all these different strategies, and then I can just enter those in here and then confirm it. And it's going to create my whole bid rule. For those of you guys who remember, a lot of my bid rules are these like laddering systems. So like I made this, I had to make this manually. It took me kind of like 30 minutes to do. You can see in one of my accounts here, but you can see how it says, hey, if I have over 75% under 100, do what it takes to get me down to 45%. If it's between 50 and 75, go to 35, et cetera, et cetera. But now guys, explore these templates and tactics, and you might see a set of rules that, kind of matches what you are looking for or what you used to do. Brand new inside of Helium 10 Ads, our templates and tactics. All right, next up, another new tool in MCP, and it's similar to what we talked about before in app. It's Index Checker, now in MCP. Now, this is like if you need to do some research on the fly or like a multi-step index check, right? I could even take it a step further and say, hey, show me all the keywords where my competitor is getting sales from, but I'm not, and check Cerebro or Keyword Tracker if I am ranking for any of these keywords. And for the ones that I'm not ranking, run it through Index Checker to check if I'm indexed. All right, there's a prompt right there. You guys pause that, rewind it, copy that word for word, what I just said. All right, that's a prompt that you can use right now. Here's a different prompt that I just used. I said here, for this ASIN, check Index Checker for these keywords. I said collagen peptides, collagen powder, sumo wrestling powder. And then I said, if there's any search terms that are not indexed, rerun that term in its individual keywords so that we can see which individual keywords are the ones causing the whole phrase to be not indexed. Guys, this is very, very valuable. This is the way hopefully you've been using Index Checker. But again, you cannot run advertising if you are not indexed. And just because you're not indexed for a whole phrase, it could be just one word in there that's causing that whole phrase to be not searchable. So that's what I'm doing with this prompt. You guys can copy this prompt. Those of you who are watching this on YouTube, make this a skill that you can run on any of your products. And so here, it showed me those 3 products, and take a look. Collagen peptides, index. Collagen powder, indexed. Sumo wrestling powder, not indexed, obviously, right? So what did it do on its own? It ran that phrase, sumo wrestling powder, with its individual words now into the Index Checker, and it said, you know what? Powder, you're indexed for, but sumo and wrestling, you're not. So now what do? Hey, if I want to be searchable or start doing advertising on this sumo wrestling powder keyword, it's telling me I need to add sumo and wrestling into my listing in order to get it indexed. All right. So this is just a quick strategy, guys. You can start doing this in bulk. Combine it with other tools like Cerebro and Keyword Tracker, make a whole flow. Guys, the Helium 10 MCP is absolutely incredible, the kinds of things it can do. Now, one of Helium 10's oldest tools, Index Checker, now has the capability in the MCP. All right, next up, we have Seller Pulse for TikTok Shop. This is a strategy that's not necessarily going to make you money, but it's something you should be monitoring. I like going into Helium 10 maybe 5 or 6 or 7 times a day for Amazon to be seeing where's my sales at for the day. You know, like, hey, around noon, I know I need to have about $500 worth of sales. So then if I see it, I've only got $100, hey, something might be going on. I got to check my listings. I got to, check what's going on, make sure I didn't lose my keyword rank. Hey, if I have got $2,000 of sales, throughout, through noon, I might have see that something has gone viral. I better go check my inventory or see what happened. Did I accidentally do a coupon? There's a lot of reasons why you want to be checking your sales throughout the day. That's been for Amazon, but now you can do that for TikTok Shop, having almost near real-time or at least same-day data for TikTok Shop. So here I'm in this account, and this is in Helium 10, showing me my seller pulse for yesterday. All right, for Amazon, says I sold $1,100. But now if I click here at the top, I go to TikTok, I can go ahead and have this seller pulse, and it's showing me for today or yesterday what my TikTok Shop sales are, how many orders I was able to get. And so again, as you start getting used to this, guys, this is something you should be doing. Monitor your Amazon orders throughout the day. Monitor your TikTok Shop orders. Know kind of like how much you're getting each day, what you should have, at certain times of the day. And then this is going to help allow you to like spot abnormalities in your sales where maybe you're getting suppressed and you didn't know, or maybe something has gone viral and you don't know, and you might have some inventory issues coming up. Seller Pulse is now available for Diamond members, guys. Check it out. All right. Back to Helium 10 MCP, another cool new tool, and that is our product targeting tab. In Black Box, in Helium 10, you have long been able to put ASINs into Black Box product targeting, and I like to use the filter for showing all of the different frequently bought together products that have shown up for the product in the last 30 to 60 days. If you're looking at frequently bought together or customers also bought, usually it's only going to show you 2 or 3 products at a time if you're just looking on Amazon. But when I use the tool in Helium 10, I could see all of the history of frequently bought together because there's sometimes 5, 10, 15, even 30 different products that show up at different times in the month. And this is Amazon saying, hey, people are buying this product with this product. All right. So if it's a similar product to yours, these are great potentials for what you should be targeting with your own sponsored display campaigns, with your own product targeting, ASIN campaigns, product targeting video campaigns, etc. All right. So now we can do that in bulk or one by one here in the Helium 10 MCP, and then even take it a step farther, those of you who have like Helium 10 ads, and see, hey, tell me which ones I'm not targeting. So here is the prompt. I said, give me a list of all the products that have shown up in frequently bought together for this ASIN. It's like a competitor hemp cream. And of these, check which ones I currently do not have in advertising an exact match in my product targeting campaigns for my ASIN, which is a hemp roll-on, and suggest to me to add these to a new campaign to test. So again, what am I saying? I'm like, hey, analyze my competitor product, which is another hemp roll-on balm here, and see all of the products that are showing up and frequently bought together and customer also bought on their page. All right. So there's data from Amazon saying that people are buying this product together with the other product. And then analyze those ASINs and look at what I'm targeting in my sponsored display campaigns, in my product targeting campaigns. And anyone that I'm not currently targeting, suggest to me to go ahead and start a new campaign to test. Because, hey, if people are buying these products with my competitor products and my product is similar to theirs, makes sense, right? That maybe, it's not guaranteed, but maybe people would buy my product together with these other products. And I can, maybe make a killing here on these product targeting campaigns. All right. And here it goes. It pulled up all of the products that I'm not targeting. It showed me the ones that I am already targeting, right? So like I must have found these ASINs on my own or from an auto campaign, but it says, hey, there's a bunch of products right here that are getting tons of sales that people are buying together with your competitor product. That's worth giving a try. And so now I've got a list of some ASINs I can drop right into a brand new product targeting campaign to test. And this is not some like shot in the dark. While this is not guaranteed I'm going to get tons of sales from this, this is based on actual Amazon data of what is happening and frequently bought together with my competitor products, meaning I have a better than not chance that these could actually bring me sales as well. And actually something new that's going to come up in a future release, I've got a little special something here where I can actually just tell Helium 10, yeah, go ahead and start this campaign for me and actually push that. You guys don't have access to that. That's why I'm not announcing that. But if you're looking here on my Claude screen, it's actually asking me if it wants me to go ahead and start these campaigns or not. So that's going to be something in a future weekly buzz we'll talk about. All right. Another new feature alert. This time we're going to a different marketplace. This one is Walmart. All right. So if I am in Walmart here in Helium 10 and I go to profits, we now have inventory levels for Walmart. So you're going to be able to see what is your WFS inventory, what's the WFS reserved, what's the inbound, what's unavailable, what's my seller fulfilled or FBM available, what's my seller fulfilled on hand. So all of this data you're going to be able to see in this tool. Inventory levels, before inventory levels was only for Amazon, but now it is for Walmart. So a quick and easy update here for those of you who are Walmart sellers. I can now see inventory levels, and if I actually click into explain, I can even see the history of what's going on and also my COGS and my gross revenue, etc. for my Walmart orders. But the main new thing here is the inventory numbers for whatever kind of inventory you have at Walmart, whether it's fulfilled by Walmart, WFS, or if it's fulfilled by merchant or seller fulfilled. What's another way to do research into products that I could potentially target in product targeting ads? Or maybe I'm just doing product research and I want to see the closest competitors to any ASIN, whether it's my product or another product. Well, one of the ways to do this is by seeing what are the products that share the most highly ranked keywords with the seed product or whatever product that you're entering in. So in other words, if I enter in my coffin shelf, the products that's going to show up if I use the tool Get Competitors is going to be a bunch of other coffin shelves. Why? Because the other coffin shelves are all ranking for similar keywords to me, like Gothic decor and coffin shelf, etc. So this is a good way if you're just barely into a new niche, you don't know who the competitors are, you're not even sure you have the right keywords. What you do historically in Helium 10, the competitors tab, is you just enter it and then you see this list of ASINs that are the closest, and it's by default in order of what products share the most highly ranked keywords. Guess what? I can do that now in bulk or just one by one in the MCP, again, related to other products. So like, all right, here's the prompt. Again, you guys can just copy this and paste it and use this kind of prompt. This is just one of many examples, all right? I said, hey, use black box competitors to tell me the top 20 closest competitors to this one hemp cream product. And then for the 5 closest competitors, then tell me if there are any keywords in Cerebro, that all 5 of them are ranking in the top 50 results or on page 1 that have over 300 search volume. So again, guys, I'm giving you guys examples of what's the new tool. The new tool is the black box Get Competitors. But all of these things I'm doing, I can combine it with like 3, 4, 5, 6 different tools inside of Helium 10 to get what I'm getting at. But mostly I'm just trying to like stick to 2 different tools here just to give you, it's like try and stir your creative juices so you can see what kind of like synergy you can use between these unique Helium 10 tools. Let's go ahead and see what the results are. All right, guys, take a look here. This is just every time I do this kind of stuff, it just kind of blows my mind. It found me the top 20 closest competitors, and look at the number 1 product. It's my product, the InMotion hemp pain roll-on. It accurately showed that this is the closest competitor, right? I kind of knew that already, but it's kind of cool that the tool figured it out and Claude figured it out as well. So here's the top 20 products. It tells me their rating, it tells me their price. And then what it did was it took the top 5 products that are closest in competitors and showed what are the keywords that are driving sales for these top 5 competitors. And sure enough, here's some of the main keywords in this niche: hemp roll-on pain relief roll-ons, cryo-freeze hemp roll-on. There's a branded search term, but that all 5 products are all ranking on page 1 for, and it tells me where is the rank for each of these. Guys, this is just incredible levels of data that before you would have to go through all these different tools in Helium 10. And sure, I could have done this, but would I get this information in like a minute or less? No, it would have taken me probably like 10, 15 minutes to do this and then run, some downloads and stuff like that. Now that black box Get Competitors is right here in the MCP, I can now combine it with these other tools and get this level of data in just seconds or a couple of minutes. And here's the thing. Now that Claude kind of knows what I'm doing, look at what it actually tells me at the very end of this. It says, do you want me to pull these into a keyword campaign suggestion or check which of them is not already ranking or advertising on for your product? It recognized that my product was one of the ones that is a close competitor, right? Pretty cool, guys. All right, another new minor feature here in Profits. We're kind of moving Profits to kind of be like this accounting kind of level of data here, all right? Before, a lot of people have been sleeping on Profits. Maybe they just want to check their just general profitability. Well, we started bringing all the other fees that we didn't have before inside of Helium 10. Another thing that we're adding is what's called indirect cost. What are indirect costs? So if you go to Profits, this is our brand new tab that we have here, brand new feature alert here, indirect costs. Indirect costs are things that aren't necessarily related to an order per se or a SKU. For example, a direct cost would be like ACOS for a keyword that got clicks from a campaign. It can like attribute the spend to an actual product, right? Another thing is your cost of goods sold, right? If I put in that my coffin shelf costs $5, that's a direct cost, all right? Every coffin shelf I sell, it knows that my COGS is $5. It's going to deduct that from my P&L, right? But what about your rent? That your warehouse rent, that's not tied to a certain product per se. What about, like your salary, right? A lot of you want to kind of like take a kind of closer look at your overall profitability. Maybe you know what your profitability at the product level is, but what happens when you divide some of the monthly and weekly costs and divide it amongst all the products? That's where this indirect cost comes in. So for those of you who want to start, treating Helium 10 like a, pseudo accounting software, go into your indirect costs, hit the add new indirect costs, put a name for it. You can assign it to like a group of products. Like, you know what? I want this to go to all, 30 of my products and just to be, divided equally. So when I look at my P&L at the product level, it takes like, 2% of my rent and applies it to here and 2% of my rent and applies it to other ones. The possibilities are endless, guys. I'm not an accountant. I'm not trying to give you guys accounting advice. This is something that our users have asked for. They want a little bit more, visibility into their profitability by taking in these non-Amazon related costs and applying it to their Amazon products. All right, I told you there was 10 strategies, but there's actually 11 because there was one that we had done in the weekly buzz. So here's the 11th one now. All right, the last one, this is coming in some of the accounts, especially those that have AWD. Another thing that's one of the top things that our Helium 10 users were asking for is the ability to view our inventory levels for AWD. All right, so I don't know how many of you guys use that, but if you do, now under inventory levels and profits for Amazon, you will see AWD inbound, AWD reserved, and AWD on hand and AWD available columns. If you don't see that and you do have AWD, let our team know, but this is brand new. We're going to now be able to have a little bit more visibility soon, even in inventory management. But if you go to profits, you go to inventory levels, check out your AWD inventory starting today. All right, guys, there you have it. 11 new features launched by Helium 10 in a week. Each of these is actually a strategy. It's not just new features from Helium 10. We don't make these things just for kicks and giggles. Why should you care about your AWD inventory levels? Well, you got to, see how much inventory you have on hand. Do you need to order more? You don't want to run out of product, right? That loses you money if you do that. Why do you care about your profitability when considering your indirect cost? Hey, you're on Amazon to make money. You got to be checking your profitability. Why do you care about indexing of your keywords you stop ranking for? If you're not ranking for keywords, all right, you're obviously not getting sales from being organically ranked. And then you maybe want to start running sponsored ads on those keywords. Well, guess what? You can't unless you are indexed. So that's how checking your indexing is going to help you and help you from not wasting your time trying to advertise for keywords you're not even indexed for. All right. Why do you care about the history of search volume, BSR, reviews? You need to check what your competitors are doing, what their strategies are, what kind of pricing fluctuations they have. Remember, one of the things that Alexa is doing now is it's telling customers, hey, how likely is it that a product is going to raise or lower in price because it's got the price history. So you might want to see, what are my competitors doing? And what can I do to maybe kind of react to that, knowing that people might ask Alexa about the price history of my product or set some kind of alert that, hey, if it dips below a certain price, go ahead and buy it. And there was a bunch of other stuff we talked about today too. Here at Helium 10, we are all about giving the new features that you, the community, are asking for the most. I'm in a meeting every week where we go over every single one of the requests that you guys have put in. That's where all these came from. How do you put in requests to Helium 10 for a feature that we don't have? On your Helium 10 dashboard, on the top right, there's this little like speech bubble with quotation marks. Hit that and then hit the Give Feature Ideas button. Put that through. It's not going to go directly to me, but it's going to go to this entire panel of a team that like I said, analyzes these things every week, and the things that people ask for the most, those are the ones that we prioritize to get done. We want to hear from you, especially in regards to AI, to MCP, to advertising, all the things we've been focusing on lately, but even like TikTok Shop, even Walmart, as you can see, we're adding stuff for Walmart. Amazon AWD, we never had anything before, but people kept asking about that. So send your feedback through this button to Helium 10. We want to hear from you. And if you guys want to keep up to date with all of the feature updates, we usually don't launch 10 in 1 week, so you're not going to see it on this kind of a podcast episode. But tune in every Thursday to our Helium 10 Weekly Buzz on the AM/PM podcast, where we talk about, what's going on in the news for e-commerce, but also we give the new feature alert of the week every time that we have one. So that's the best way to keep up with all of our feature updates. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next week.